Hi there. Welcome to episode 7 of Sea Lawyer Station. My name is Jose Malari. Every case is a story. But for immigration specialist Flomy Diza, each one could change a life forever. In this episode, we step inside the world of high-stakes immigration battles. From deportation defense to family reunification. And learn how Attorney Flomy Diza's relentless pursuit of justice keeps the American dream alive for so many. Hi there. I am with Attorney Flomy Diza in his office at Reeves Immigration in San Francisco. Flomy, thank you so much for allowing me to visit you and interview you right here in your office. Welcome to Sea Lawyer Station.
Thank you so much, Atty. Malari, for this opportunity, and it's my pleasure.
Good. How are you, compañero?
I'm good, and thanks for coming, and happy Veterans Day. I know you're a veteran, and thank you for your service. And lahat ng mga veterano, pinabati po natin silang lahat.
Maraming salamat. It is my honor to serve this great nation and fight for our way of life. Attorney Flomy Diza has a proven reputation of developing creative and effective solutions to complex immigration situations. Last month, he was honored as one of 100 most influential Filipinos worldwide. Congratulations, Flomy.
Thank you so much, Panyero. It's an honor to be recognized as one of the TOFA, the Outstanding Filipino Americans Award, 100 most influential Filipinos all over the globe. It's both humbling and inspiring experience for me.
Well deserved. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
You are a member of the California Bar and board certified specialist in immigration and nationality law. Attorney Diza is also a member of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, and he regularly provides expert analysis on immigration matters via radio and TV shows that are broadcast worldwide. He is a presenter at various conferences for the American Immigration Lawyers Association. He provides free legal consultation at the Philippine Consulate here in San Francisco, California, every month. And last but not least, Attorney Flomy Diza is a partner at Reeves Immigration Law Firm. Going back to your award as one of the 100 most influential Filipinos in the world, could you tell us something about this award and how were you chosen?
Yes, the Outstanding Filipino Awards was founded by Elton Lugay. He's a journalist, writer at the Inquirer, Philippine Daily Inquirer. He founded this more than 15 years ago, and I was being recommended, rather evaluated. Community groups normally recommends the awardees. So it went through a process, rigorous process by the board of TOFA, and then it of course selects people on different spectrum of professionals and entrepreneurs. So that's how I was chosen, and this award has been in existence for more than 15 years. So the last time it was held in Las Vegas, and among those co-awardees we have was entertainment industries and entrepreneurs, sports. So there are 100 people who were awarded. So that's how it went through. So for me, this award is not just a personal, achievement, but also a community where we show the excellence of Filipinos worldwide in terms of our advocacy, in terms of our profession. So that's how we were chosen for this award.
Very nice. as I was preparing for this interview, I looked in the internet how many are the lawyers who graduated from law school in the Philippines and are currently board certified specialists. And I found only two. I don't know if my search was accurate. One is you, and another one in LA. So also in immigration. To me, being a board certified specialist is a testament to your superior competence and extraordinary dedication to your craft. This interview will touch upon one of the hottest topics in America today,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is U.S. immigration.
Immigration, yeah.
Right. You're a member of the California Bar and board certified specialist in immigration and nationality law. What does that certification process entail, and what does it mean for your clients?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Pañero. First and foremost, passing the Philippine bar, right?
Yes.
It's already a very difficult process.
Right.
And also passing the California bar. But becoming a certified specialist in your field really is really important, especially in the U.S. So what it means is that this is sponsored by the California State Bar Legal Specialization. There's a dedicated department from the California Bar where they have to give examination. So in other words, it entails practice of law in immigration or whatever your specialization is, and then you have to undergo exam, and you have to pass the exam. On top of that, you will be evaluated by your peers, right? So they have to ask some of your friends and from your colleagues, the people or the judges you work with. They have to certify that your knowledge is beyond normal. So you're an expert of your field. On top of those, passing the written exam and evaluation, you have to comply with additional MCLE requirements. As lawyers in the Philippines, we are required to comply the MCLE. Same thing with the California Bar. We have to do 25 units, right? And then also and on top of that, as a certified specialist, we have to add 12 more units just to comply and maintain our specialization. It's really important, as you mentioned, especially at this time, because immigration is always changing. Every time an administration changes, there's a change in law, so you have to cope up with that. And the good thing about my firm and my practice is we do immigration only. On immigration practice, there's already vast of topics, right? From family-based, employment-based, deportation, consular processing, employment, student visa, etc. So you have to understand every nitty-gritty of those. You have to have practice and undergone the filing of those process before they can certify you. For our clients, it's kind of a testament and proof that they are more comfortable knowing that the lawyer knows what they're doing, right? At the same time, not only being an expert in the field, but also our commitment on ethics, right? And it's really important to maintain that. So that's how the board specialization work. And I know, as you said, the one in LA, I know him. He's also a good friend. There's also one here in the Bay Area who does specialize in, I think, taxation. One of them is also a IBP member. So I know it's a long, difficult process, and you have to undergo those type of examinations and compliance before you will be considered a specialist. And I've been a specialist for over 10 years now, and it's valid for 5 years. And after that, after 5 years, you have to redo again and to comply with all those requirements.
Thank you. As a licensed attorney in the Philippines and former president of the California chapter of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, do you think a legal specialization program can be good for the practice of law in the Philippines?
Yeah, absolutely, Pañero, right? I believe in the specialization program. If properly implemented, it can strengthen the legal profession in the Philippines. The practice of law is increasingly becoming more technical. The same thing with as doctors specializing in surgery or pediatrics, lawyers should be encouraged also to do specialization or master in their areas. like taxation, corporate law, or even immigration. So this type of specialization fosters accountability and raises professional standards and enhances the public trust. The key, of course, is the ensuring the accessibility and fairness in terms of becoming a specialized on the field instead of promoting competence and also continuing legal education.
Could you share a brief life story? Where were you born? Where you grew up? Your education? Your move to the U.S. and your professional experience up to the present time?
Yeah, I came from a humble family. My parents are farmers in the north. It's called Cagayan Valley, where Enrile, Enrile was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied my high school at St. Louis Tuguegarao. It's formerly known as the Ateneo de Tuguegarao.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to my teachers. And then I went to, I didn't know what to take when after graduation from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Philippines, you either be a lawyer or doctor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or a CPA.
Right.
So I took up pre-law at Far Eastern University. And then after that, there was an opportunity for me. My teachers at the FEU then, Atty. Sumilong and Atty. Legaspi, who became very good friends, told me that there was an opening for a new law school, right? At that time, it was very new. It's called the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Manila. It's catered for Manila residents where they are scholars ng bayan. So it's a small kind of UP where caters for Manila residents. So at that point, they said, why don't you join us at PLM? We are the third batch at that point in the 1990s. There's no tuition fee.
Wow.
So there is but like 200 pesos, right? So, but you have to maintain a grade and also no failures. Otherwise, you will be kicked out. So there was this one flag policy at that point during Mayor Lim, who established the law school at that point, where why don't we, do a college of law at PLM so that once they graduate, we have lawyers. So that's what happened, and that's started my experience as a lawyer. We have an automatic job after graduation. After passing the bar, we were hired at the City Legal Office in Manila. So at that time, lahat ng klaseng practice, like every type of practice from being a prosecutor to a defense lawyer, from defending the city and, everything. Yeah. So that's really a good practice for us, and it gave us, the opportunity to give back to the community by rendering free legal services and being hired by the City of Manila. And that experience really molded me into what I am today as well. On top of that, I was also a professor. So, alam mo naman sa atin, it's lagare, right? So, yeah. after the City Hall, then I used to teach at the La Salle University, Saturdays and after office hours, probably from 5:30 to 9. Far Eastern University and Lyceum of the Philippines. And also, during the time of Dean, there was this Dean who's also very close to my heart, Benjamin Domingo. He asked me to teach law. My students were even older than me at that point. So that was my experience in the Philippines for about 6 years, and then until we immigrated here in the United States. I started, before joining this firm, I started in another, law firm. They accepted me to be as a paralegal, and then I joined my firm a year after, where I started as a paralegal, right? Then I realized I'm doing the lawyer's work already at that point. Right. So why don't I want to sign my name as well. So I challenged the bar, then I made it in 2004. So that's a good thing, because my boss, the Reeves Immigration, Mr. Reeves, who founded this law firm, in the 80s, he told me that, I'm going to get you a green card through this process. So it's a real life experience in terms of, for me, getting my green card, because my firm did petition me for the labor certification and eventually the green card for the whole family. That's how I started, and I like what I'm doing because we're helping a lot of our kababayans, and not only Filipinos but also other nationalities, As we all know, there's a lot of Hispanic, also Asians like Chinese, Indians, professionals, South Koreans, and all throughout the United States. But the bulk of my practice are Filipinos.
You mentioned being born and growing up in Cagayan Valley. I'm happy to hear that because my mom, she was born in Isabela, but she spent a lot of her youth in Enrile, Cagayan.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of classmates and really they speak Ibanag and
Yeah.
Ilocano. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she's watching. Hi, Mom. She watches all my
Oh, wow.
episodes.
That's
yeah.
good.
You mentioned being petitioned for a green card. So, were you working visa before that?
Yes, we unfortunately we are on a valid visa at that point, and I was given that opportunity to come here and work.
Is there any myth about immigration or visas which you may have encountered among clients, the media, or other lawyers, and such myth you think deserves debunking?
That's the first question that I ask of me as an immigration lawyer and at the same time as radio discussing immigrations. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good question, Pañero.
Mhm.
I think one of the myths that we always encounter is that marrying a U.S. citizen guarantees you a green card, right?
Right.
U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
That's false. I mean, marrying a U.S. citizen legally, right, living together is as simple as you just get married and then get the green card the fastest way. I mean, you have, especially now where there's an extreme vetting, you have to show relationship, that you live together, that you intend to live together for the rest of your life. I mean, it's not something that you marry and get the green card the fast and furious way, you know.
Right.
So that's one of the myths. That just by marrying a U.S. citizen, you get the green card fast and clear. It's not. You have to establish relationship, document that you are really married. Secondly, a lot of people also think that overstaying in the U.S. and living for 10 years, right, you get the green card, right? There's no such thing. Na, you know, living in the U.S. for 10 years, even without status, and you get automatically a green card holder. No, there's no such thing. That only applies if the government tries to deport you. Then you are in a removal proceedings. You can apply what we call cancellation of removal, where you have been in the U.S. for 10 years, right? And then you have no disqualifying criminal conviction, and then you can show good moral character. And first and foremost, you have to show that your qualifying relative, either your parent, your minor child, or spouse, would suffer extreme, exceptional, unusual hardship. So, but just to remind the listeners and viewers that this only applies for people who are already in deportation proceedings, but it's not an automatic. So those are the two most myths that I encountered clients misunderstood.
Oh, good. Good to know. As an immigration lawyer, how do you balance the principle of welcoming newcomers with the concern that many of them may not share or may even reject the core American values of freedom, equality, and the rule of law?
That's a really good point. My understanding is that welcoming new immigrants, because we were here when we experienced the same thing,
Yep.
right? And upholding American core values, they are not opposing goals, right? But they are intertwined. They should go hand in hand. Right? We welcome immigrants, at the same time we respect and value American goals. And if you look at why people come here, is because number one, opportunity, right? Greener pasture, and also the freedom and the justice, due process. You know, there are clients that I had from of Africa who escaped persecution, or for example in Asia who escaped the war. So that's the reason why they come here, because they want a better opportunities. But it doesn't mean that they are against the American values. I put my client in a way to get the green card legally and place them on where they should be, right? Integrating themselves into American culture. But also at the same time, it's not wrong to honor our heritage.
Yeah.
That's why we have Filipino American Month. That's why we have Chinese American Month, or Hispanic American Month. It doesn't mean that honoring our heritage is against American values. I think they intertwine each other, and at the same time, it makes life more colorful because of the diversity. In San Francisco, for example, what makes America a nation of immigrants is the diversity, right? The diversity and the food, the culture, different people, different traditions. But of course, we always advise our clients, our kababayans to respect and to honor American laws and values.
What is your opinion about immigrants whose purpose or intent in coming to the U.S. is not really to live the American way of life, but to become terrorists, to terrorize us,
Wow.
or cause violence to the American people?
We all agree to disagree, and I think that we are, even if you are a strong advocate for immigration or not really anti-immigration or on a more conservative aspect, right? There is a law in place, right, both overseas and here, where immigration officers and judges have to do the extreme vetting, right? They vet applicants, and that's the purpose of the immigration officers, is to ensure that applicants pass the qualifications, either by looking at the history, right? That's why people are required to submit their NBI clearance or criminal records clearance, or their what do you call this? The association with groups,
Yep.
right? Like, are they were a former member of the Communist Party,
Right.
or the member of this Abu Sayyaf, right? And I know people would be, not disclosing those membership, but that's when the immigration system comes in to make sure and ensure that they should be vetted. But of course, we don't want terrorists, criminals, of course, we don't want these people to come here and disrupt and, what do you call this, spread chaos and terrors. That's why before 911, if you recall, immigration system was not very lax, I believe. That's why those people were able to enter, went to school, right? And then they were the one who were involved on the 911. But to tag people just to come here, and not everyone, probably there are some, and that's why we also say that's where the Department of State and Department of Homeland Security comes into play.
Okay.
To ensure that people we are accepting should follow the law and should not should be extremely vetted to ensure that they don't terrorize the U.S.
So you think, is it reasonable to use like the test of un-Americanism or determining un-Americanism among immigrants applications?
Well, I think looking at the, not necessarily there should be a strong basis to do that, or enough evidence to show that these people are un-Americanized. But advocating Filipino core values does not mean un-Americanized, right? And there's also that freedom of speech. Let's say sharing some information that you think are helpful to your belief, that makes you un-Americanized. That's why I think the Trump administration also imposes looking at your social media, right? Who are you supporting? Who are you liking? Who are you, sharing this information? But I think mostly now with the advent of technology and social media, it's really important. The AI, right? It's really important for people to understand what is right and wrong, right? Which is, are those informations really accurate, right? A good example of that are those social media reels where President Trump was saying that there's no longer dual citizenship, right? So people try to think that this is legitimate, and it was AI generated, and people shared that, and it came to my attention, and people are sending me online messages saying, hey, is this true? And only to find out that, it's not true, because you can also search online, right? That is this true? And it says this is a hoax or something. There might be some sort of discussion at one point, but it's not true that there's no more dual citizenship.
Some of us have heard about an increase in application fees for immigration. Do you think such fees increase is justified by funding needs of the immigration system, and that a tougher naturalization test promotes civic knowledge. What is your opinion?
Yeah, I have to qualify my answer for
Okay.
both, right? Fee increases definitely, while burdensome, can be justified.
Okay.
If they fund efficiency,
Mhm.
right? Backlogs, which is one of the most common problem. Backlogs, I'm waiting for my green card forever, or naturalization.
Right.
And of course, improve technology. They're okay. And for training purposes for immigration officers and Homeland Securities and Department of State officials. But it also must create economic barriers to justice, especially for low-income immigrants. And that's my answer to your question. It's okay, but also look at immigrants who are not able to pay. Secondly, I strongly disagree in terms of the H-1B 100,000 fee for professionals, and I think that's super. I mean, we have a lot and many clients who are startup. Attorney Malyari, they are startup, and we live in Silicon Valley area where people converge here, and try to establish and establish entrepreneurs, etc. They're starting up. They don't have a lot of money, right? That's how Zuckerberg and Elon Musk started as well, right?
Yeah.
They started from their garage and eventually they became super billionaires. And that's how we encourage people to especially in the Silicon Valley where they're okay to do a startup here. And if they need technical professionals outside of the U.S., then they should not be prevented from doing the H-1B. But requiring them to pay 100,000 as a startup, I think that's too overburdensome. I hope that this administration would reconsider in terms of requiring the 100,000 fees for the H-1B, because that's really burdensome. Even mid-sized companies or even a school, right? I don't think they're going to pay that much money just to hire one or two professionals to come here and join their workforce.
Yeah. 100,000, man, that's
That's
a big
lot.
chunk of money.
Yeah, from probably around 2,000 or less than 5,000 the total. 200,000 is a lot. I mean, you can increase probably a little more, but not 100,000.
Okay.
Right.
Discretion plays a huge role in immigration, from USCIS officers to ICE prosecutors to immigration judges. Do you think such level of discretion either helps or hurts fairness in the system?
Well, discretion, I would say, is both a blessing and a burden.
Okay.
Right. So, immigration judges, immigration officers, even the ICE officers who they arrest, right?
Yeah.
Or who else? Consular officers abroad has this wide discretion, right? So it allows them. In that situation, they allow these officers to exercise compassion, right? And that sometimes rigid laws, immigration laws, might overlook. But also at the same time, if these discretion are being unchecked, right, it can lead to inconsistency or bias. So I would still say that it's really helpful to exercise discretion. Of course, there are avenues in case that discretion will not be exercised rightly, right? There's what we call abuse of discretion, where you can appeal the case or request for reconsideration. But also, as I was saying, that discretion should also entail fairness, right? And the compassion in immigration law, right? Especially we're dealing with not just in an employment-based aspect, right, but also in a family-based aspect where you try to reunite, a father and a son, or a spouse, or, from wife to the husband or the children. So that's when the compassion comes in.
Immigration policies are viewed by many people as law and order, while other people view them as cruelty. Where do you draw the line between enforcing the law versus abusing it?
Well, the enforcement, especially with the Trump administration, is heightened at this time, right? We always tell our clients that there are laws in place, right? We need to follow the law.
Yeah.
I mean, we emphasize that, and regardless whether you are, practicing immigration or other aspect of law, right? You need to follow the law, right? The enforcement, on the other hand, becomes abuse when it loses the moral compass. We have seen and heard many immigrants being arrested at their workplace, at the courthouses, even interviews, immigration interviews, even reporting. There is this annual report for immigrants to go to the ICE to do the report, and they were arrested there. And I think that if that happens, it erodes public faith, public faith in the system. So that's why people might say, why should I go to my hearing, right? Especially if you are, for example, an undocumented and you witness a crime, especially if you are a star witness, and if you knew that ICE are waiting for you, why should I go to that and expose myself? So it erodes, rather, the public faith in the system if that happens. As lawyers, we must defend Pañero, not only the letter which is strictly enforcing, the law, but also the spirit. The spirit of the law is why this law was enacted in the first place. And at the same time, that ensuring that order is really important. The order, which this administration is always using, the order should be implemented, but at the same time should never also override dignity of a person, because being arrested at the public places like courts, hospitals, right, is, it erodes dignity of a human person. So I hope that there's a draw line between people arresting, and then we believe in the president when he said, we don't want criminals here, right? We don't want people come here to terrorize us. I mean, who does not want to live in peace? Right? But also at the same time, people here who are just doing their job, I think we need to be more compassionate and apply the spirit of the law, as we said.
In your opinion, which immigration policy fails the most, and why? Do you have an opinion on how it should be fixed?
Well, as a Filipino-American lawyer, dealing with a lot of Filipino clients, and I think one of the most comments from our Filipino clients, especially with immigration, because there's a lot of people come here, break the system, right? Just go back and forth, and it's easy for other nationalities to just enter the border, stay here, live here, go back to their home country, come back again. They're recidivists. And a lot of Filipinos would say, why do the shortcut? While we Filipinos wait in line. Because there's no way for us to, to cross the border. So I think one of the most failing policy would be the backlogs in the priority dates. You can just imagine, you petition your child or your son, and it takes about 15 years. You petition your married daughter, it takes about 20 years. And by the time that the priority date becomes available, your children already aged out. So it's just a repeated pattern where, okay, you petition your daughter, has a child, and then you leave your children behind, right? They wait for another 20 years, they have their own family already, and then they immigrate to the US at a very old age, right? And then they petition the children again. It's a repeated pattern where there's no more unification, and that's the essence of immigration, is for family unification. By the time the children immigrate, they already age out. And I think something has to be done, right, in terms of expediting this process. The backlogs, and of course, the priority date to become more faster.
My next question is a hypothetical. If you were advising Congress on a complete overhaul of the Immigration and Nationality Act, what would be your first priorities?
Well, as we just mentioned a while ago, reducing the backlogs is really a good one way. And also, what we need in the U.S., for example, registered nurses and other professionals medical professionals, instead of waiting the backlog, even nurses now have a year or two backlogs petitioning them, right? We should reduce the backlogs, especially if there are crises. In COVID times, especially during this time we want to expedite, it never happened. That's number one. Number two would be pathway for dreamers. Dreamers who are on deferred action for childhood arrivals, who came here when they're very young, in 2007, one or before 2007, went to school, or served the military, no felony or serious misdemeanor, what else? And they have a stable job. They were given under Obama what we call work authorization, and they deferred the removal. But at the same time, still in place at this point, and thankfully, the Trump administration is not touching the dreamers at this time. So giving them a pathway should, at least to a green card holder, is also one way of showing the compassion aspect of immigration, because these kids have no decision to make when they were brought by the parents here as a child. The pathway to legalization might be an option. The other, I think, the conservative aspect, giving legalization to undocumented, I think this study shows that it just lead to more people coming here illegally.
Yeah.
Right. But also, what are you gonna do with the 12 million?
Right.
Right. If they continue to live in fear and work under the table, instead of, okay, why don't we set up a, what do you call this, factors or set up a policy that would allow people to legalize their status, like no criminal records, no felony, they've been working and paying taxes, probably. Those are the considerations. And the last time we have a blanket legalization was during Reagan's time. He's a Republican. Right. During his time in 1980s, he said, any people who were here before 1982, you get your citizen, you get your green card. And we're hoping that not exactly the same, but also there are some restrictions like residency and no serious criminal convictions. And also expanding, I would say, humanitarian protection. I still think that U.S., despite its immigration policies right now, we're still a nation of compassion, where if there are wars, if there were national calamities, we should encourage them to stay and be able to stand up on their own feet before they go home. So these are the humanitarian protection that we recommend to Congress if I were to give them advice.
How might advances in technology such as data systems, AI adjudication, online visa processes, how might they either help or further complicate the immigration system?
Yeah, there might be some officers already using this technology, especially AI. Immigration lawyers are well aware of the AI assistance as well. And a lot of people are using that already. But technology can improve transparency, definitely, and access. This AI can ensure the online tracking, digital filings. They are really important at this time where in courts now, you do all digital filings online. At the same time, applicants can access their case status online. So those are very helpful. But the AI adjudication, I don't know if we have that yet, must be approached cautiously.
Okay.
Right? Because immigration decision involve nuance and credibility, right? And also empathy. So used properly, technology can assist, right? Assist adjudicators, officers, but they should not replace them, right? It's only for assistance, but not replacing them. Ensuring that, of course, due process remains the heart of the decision making. So it's not just automatic that AI will make decision, right? So the officers should still look at it, whether they are compliant with the law, and a due process has been observed.
For immigrants and families going through the system right now, and I'm sure there's many who are watching, what tips can you share to help them navigate smoothly and avoid common pitfalls?
That's really a good question. I always emphasize to my clients and to my radio and television and social media listeners that if they apply for immigration benefits in the U.S., whether applying as a tourist, student, or the green card, is to document everything, right? Document everything. Keep your records. This is my I-94. This is my visa when I entered. Keep them. They are really, really important, right? Number two, consult a qualified immigration lawyer, especially if your case is complicated, right? So, and not rely on a notario. Notario, I always warn our kababayans, if they know what they're doing, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if they mess up your case, right, and then you ended up paying more,
Yeah.
right? And then also avoid misinformation, as we mentioned a while ago, especially now with the AI. There's a lot of things going on right now with social media, and you don't know what to believe, right? So don't share that information concerning immigration, right? If you don't know for 100% sure that this information are accurate, okay? For people coming to the U.S., maintain lawful status. Don't try to work if you are here on a tourist visa. Don't try to enter into marriage fraud. I mean, people would say, "How about my cousin? You know, he married, a friend, etc., and able to get it quickly." And said, "No, that's illegal. That's a criminal act." So, maintain lawful status, and at the same time, especially sa mga kababayan natin waiting for the visa, be patient, right? If you're being petitioned as married or as a single person, it's faster than being married, right? Because there's a consequence if you are being impatient, right? You're doing the shortcut by either providing false information, applying for a tourist visa, and providing false information. There's a lot of ways for embassy now to trace and confirm the authenticity of what you're providing them. So those are the advice that we give our kababayan, Panyero.
Thank you so much. We're nearing the end of this interview. I would like to give you a humble token of my appreciation for allowing me to interview you. And here's a box of chocolates.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Panyero. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for this interview. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Panyero. And of course, we need to advertise your YouTube and Facebook account. It's called
See Lawyer Station.
See Lawyer Station. Subscribe and share to your friends and family. We support our kababayan here, hardworking. And we hope to hear from you again in the future. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.